What's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. Thank you for watching on a Sunday, a not game day Sunday for us. So a day before game day Sunday for Rams fans and for Bears fans. If there are Bears fans watching this, hello. For any Rams fan watching this and hasn't subscribed and is new to the channel, please subscribe here. Everyone set your notifications on. For all of the subscribers, the new ones, the old ones, the middle ones, thank you so much for watching, for participating in the channel. I really love it. This is a passion of mine. I'm really glad to be a part of this Rams community. So, before I switch over to the collaboration between Faizan and myself, a couple news and notes. You can find me on Instagram at LA Rams Talk, and that's a great place to DM me. I'm going to be posting some content later today and tomorrow, Monday. So it's just little quick bits, and you can, like I said, DM me. It's a great place for that. You can also follow me on Twitter at Real LA Rams Talk. You can find me on the Flick app. I created a Rams group. It's a great place. It's kind of like Discord for sports. So that's a great place to be. And also Fan to Fan Network. I will be live streaming on there later today. It's going to be the sports rundown. I'm going to be the last one. So with Faizan, we'll be talking about Rams Bears on that as well. So swing by when you get a chance. And a couple news and notes. Number one, Bears fans are crazy. Number two, Rams are going to win this game. Number three, if you have Tyler Higbee in fantasy, pick up Gerald Everett and just monitor the situation, because Tyler Higbee injured his hand. He's going to be a game time decision. So just have Gerald Everett ready to go. That's what I'm doing. I have Higbee in one of my leagues. So actually two of my leagues. And so just a little fantasy tip right there for you. A'Shawn Robinson may or may not play. Kai Forbath will not be kicking. It's going to be Sloman time. So if you have any fingernails, enjoy them before they're gone. You get nervous, Sam Sloman style. So and he's been instructed to kick the ball out of the end zone because Cordarrelle Patterson will be returning kicks. Sean McVay said no kicking it, deep into the end zone, kick it out of the end zone. If Sam Sloman can't do that in like a dome indoor stadium, then oh brother. So anyways, without further ado, thank you for tuning in. I hope this gives you some fulfillment on your Sunday because we don't have a Rams game. Enjoy the collaboration. Be nice to Fiz. Go to his channel. Check him out. Give him a subscription. He's a good dude. And without further ado, Rams Talk with Fiz Sports Talk collaboration begins now.
What is going on, y'all? Fiz Sports Talk back at it with another video. I've got a very special collab right here with Trent over at FTFN. Trent, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, Faizan? Great to be collabing with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you guys should know why we're collabing. We got the Rams and Bears matchup this week on primetime, I might add. So a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs will be on this one. So we've got a lot to talk about. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. So we're going to go back and forth here. I'll start by asking Trent, and then he can ask it to me as well, so I'll go ahead and answer. I kind of want to know him as a guy who covers the Rams. He covers it like a blanket. He knows everything, all right? What is the perspective of the Bears from an outsider like the Rams, which is a 5-1 team that's number one in their division right now, but if you look at every power ranking that list that comes out, we're outside the top 10. So why aren't we getting the respect that a 5-1 team would? What do you think about that?
I think, well, to be honest with you, when I saw the schedule come out and I saw this game for the Rams, I think a lot of people were quick to just mark this down as a W for the Rams, right? Because of the Bears last year. But I kind of viewed the Bears last year not doing so well is because Akeem Hicks went down. Yeah. And also like Trubisky, right? So yeah. I feel there were things that happened last year that kind of moved the opinion of the Bears down before the season even started. So they really weren't high on anyone's radar to begin the year. Like people were higher on the Lions out of the North than the Bears. And with Hicks back, you guys get Robert Quinn. And to me, I felt like coming into the season, this game would be really tough, a tough matchup, and I wasn't looking past it at all. In fact, could be like a trap game for the Rams. They had San Francisco the week before. But I think that, that it was all about Trubisky.
Yeah.
Right. And I think even when they were 3-0 or 2-0, whatever they were when they made the change, they still were undefeated.
Yep.
But no one was going to buy the Bears, no matter how good their defense was, with Trubisky at the helm. So now that you guys beat Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Tip of the cap, not taking anything away from that. That's a great win. Like, Rams still have to play Tampa Bay this year. Not, that's going to be a tough matchup. But we played the NFC least, but you guys also played the Lions and Falcons and Giants, and I mean Carolina is better than I think a lot of people thought they would be, but so I think it's why you're not getting a lot of respect. And trust me, I know this as a Rams fan because we never got respect.
Yeah,
is your quarterback is not inspiring. Mm-hmm. Even Nick Foles isn't inspiring anyone, and I think it's also who you've played so far. So it's kind of like, go through a gauntlet, play the Rams, you beat the Rams, then you earn your stripe, right? And I feel that the same is for the Rams, right? Like if the Rams haven't really beaten anyone, so if they beat the Bears, then they've earned their stripe. But I think I look at Green Bay. I think Green Bay is a better team than the Bears. And just Nick Foles, can he put together almost a full season of being a big time player? Yeah, I think that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Took me a long while to get there.
No, but I'm glad to hear that because a lot of what you said honestly isn't news to Bears fans, but it still feels reassuring to hear it. That these are the points that we kind of brought up. So. That makes sense. I'll give my 2 cents on the Rams here, and then we'll get into the matchup breakdown. So you already mentioned it. I didn't want to jump the gun, but you guys have played the NFC least, right? Your 4 wins are all from the NFC East. And now, look, people always say, you've only beaten these easy teams. Well, that's what good teams do. You beat up on the easy teams. So if you lose those, you're not a good team. So I can't say the Rams are a bad team because they've beaten who they're supposed to. Your losses were to a division rival in the 49ers who are defending Super Bowl, not champs, but the team that came out of the NFC, and then the Bills, who are a playoff team, I believe. So nothing to be ashamed about. But for me, I keep going back to this about the Rams. You guys are so lucky to have Sean McVay. Like, I feel like Sean McVay is like the deodorant for the Rams. He just makes everything just work because I don't believe Jared Goff has – been the same level of Jared Goff that he's been over the years. You've got a million running backs. Robert Woods is good. Your offense is decent, but your defense is okay. Like, everything about the Rams to me is like either average or above average, except for your coach, who's elite. And so I think that's the reason where the Rams just in the toughest division in football, they're probably looked at as definitely a step below Seattle. Potentially even the 49ers, although they've gone through a lot of injuries, and then the Cardinals, who are up and coming this year. So I can't quite figure out the Rams, and I'll just ask you real quick to chime in before we move on. But do you feel like what I'm saying is crazy, or do you think that's the national perspective on the Rams?
I think the national perspective of the Rams is that same thing about Nick Foles in a way is like Jared Goff does not excite really anyone. I think Rams fans know because we've seen games that he's played where he's been lights out. Like, he outdueled Mahomes in that Monday night game. Todd Gurley didn't play in that game.
Yeah, that high-scoring game. Yep, I remember that one.
Yeah, and, Jared Goff, right? And then you look at the game when the Rams beat the Saints in the NFC Championship game, Todd Gurley, didn't really play in that game at all. Like, that was Jared Goff carrying a team. Right. And a lot of people don't, because he's not exciting. He's very kind of monotone, just calm guy, which is actually we like. But he's a guy last year where we didn't have a running game, and he was asked to do everything with the second worst offensive line, and he couldn't deal with it. And it was a lot. It was all on him with not much else. and they still went 9-7, right? So this year they're just being way more efficient, and I think the Rams, like I said, they just have to earn it. But they do have at least, I think, 3 players that are the best player at their position in the NFL with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Andrew Whitworth. So, like, they do have talent. And they have, like, their other guys, like their receiver core is talent, their running backs are talent, their offensive line is back. So it's Rams fans just still don't know what to expect, like the 2019 Rams or the 2020 Rams is how we started out this season. So it's TBD, but I feel like this is a solid a game that the Rams can win, and by doing so would really kind of alleviate Rams Nation on kind of the freak out after the San Francisco game.
Got it. All right, let's move on to the matchup itself. I want to get into this game now. So it's a Monday night game at home in LA. Let me just start with kind of my big key here. I talked about this in my preview video. Look, Sean McVay is going to definitely study the tape and exploit, obviously, the Bears and how you can attack the Bears. So you can talk a little bit about how you think the Rams should attack them. I'm actually going to kind of talk about 2 things. One, how the Bears should attack the Rams, but also what I feel like we should force the Rams to do. I would rather, if we lose this game, which I don't believe we will, we'll get into that in a second, I would rather Jared Goff beat us. If Jared Goff beats us, tip of my cap to Jared Goff, and he can get all the respect in the world. But I do not want, which I believe this is what I think Sean McVay does, I do not want to be run all over by some combination of Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. I'm not sure who's going to play this week between all of them, if all 3, so you can chime in on that. But I think that's going to be the biggest key for me is forcing Jared Goff to throw instead of having the Rams run the ball. And then from the offensive side, the Rams defense doesn't scare me outside of 2 players, Donald and Ramsey. So how do you prevent that? Our offensive line's been pretty bad. We can't have 7-step drops. I can't have Nick Foles go back deep and launch these bombs because Aaron Donald's just going to get to him or Jalen Ramsey's going to pick him off. So I'd rather just us use a short passing game because Matt Nagy just hates running the football. I don't know. He's just against it. David Montgomery never wants to, run him. So I'm not even confident that we'll run the football, even though I think we should to kind of neutralize Donald. But short, quick pass game. Hopefully Nick Foles can stay accurate. But, I think that's my biggest key for the Bears. What about you?
Yeah, I think that kind of ties in with your first key, but for the Rams. So I think the Rams, like you said, Jared Goff, you want to force Jared Goff to make the plays. Then you're talking about Nick Foles with the quick passing game because of Aaron Donald and everything. And I think when the Rams have been at their best, and the keys to them winning is when they're balanced on offense, so they're running the ball and passing the ball, but also Goff is getting rid of the ball quickly. They're bootlegging him out. They're using motion. Just really being, short passing game, being precise, but just like picking up those 5, 6, 12-yard completions, just getting in that rhythm. There have been like a couple games where he's been 10 for 10 at least to start the game. So for me, it's your interior or your line with, you got Mack, you got Hicks, Nichols, you got Quinn. I remember when Hicks was giving us a lot of fits in the game 2 years ago, coming up the middle. Granted, our O-line is better now, but Jared Goff, just like Nick Foles, is going to be getting the ball out quick. If Jared Goff doesn't throw an interception, has like 2 touchdowns passing, the Rams have won this game because that's kind of like his stat line, because then that means the running backs have gotten over 130 yards. So I feel like for the Rams, if they can just start running and just doing the quick game, short game, then they're good. That's where they're at their best. But I think the key on defense for the Rams, we know AD is going to do what he's going to do. Foles is going to get it out quickly. But I think Ramsey is going to do a good job on Allen Robinson. But the key is our linebackers on your tight ends. Because I feel like Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet coming up, I think those guys are going to create a lot of problems. And our linebackers have not been good this year. Kind of very inconsistent. So I think, to me, that has me worried. And I think Nick Foles would be wise to test our safety or our linebackers on the tight ends or on your third or fourth receiver or whatever, Montgomery out of the backfield. And I think that's going to be a big key. And then I looked at who wins the first half.
Yeah.
Because if the Rams come out and start strong on offense, their defense in the second half of like every game this year has been lights out. Staley, thank you for Staley. I guess, well, he came from Denver, but Staley has been amazing at making it. Like San Francisco scored 3 points in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo scored that one touchdown at the end of the game in the second half. So the Rams really make these adjustments. It takes them 2 quarters. So if the Bears jump out quickly, score a couple of 2 quick touchdowns, that might be all that you need because it's not going to – you guys aren't really going to generate a lot of offense in the second half. So the first half is going to be key.
Okay, gotcha. Just real quick, I know that last week because I know with your running backs, it's been a 3-headed monster. Akers got like one snap, I think. I don't even know if he got a carry, but what is the situation with the running backs? And do you think Sean McVay's preference is going to be to run the football? And if it is, who is the main running back for the Rams?
See, that's tough. So number one, Sean McVay's main preference, I think, is the pass. So he's always like fighting himself to just get this run balance. But, when he had Todd Gurley, he had confidence in that. He had a veteran offensive line. Yep. But I think he still – that's what killed the 49ers game is that we started the game pass, punt, pass. It was just like, what are you doing? Run the ball.
Yeah, run the ball.
So it's like he's got to fight with himself to keep this balance and just go for it. Because you look at the second half of the Buffalo game when we were behind by so much, we were running the ball like crazy.
Easy.
Like it was, you stuck with it. And that's what happens. In terms of who he's going to lean on, first thing you got to know, if you see Malcolm Brown in the game, that means your pass rush is being effective, and he's a better blocker.
Okay.
So if you see Malcolm Brown, that means that the Rams are trying to counter your pass rush.
Okay.
Number 2, between Henderson and Akers, right now Henderson is lights out this season. Akers, Sean McVay likes to stick to a script offensively.
Right.
And he doesn't really like to say, hey, I'm going to make these adjustments and therefore kind of change it. So he basically, the script didn't work for Cam Akers being in the game. Instead of like, we're still going to like go for it and do what we want to do. It kind of let the game dictate why Cam Akers wasn't in there. So I can't tell you which Rams receiver will have the most like fantasy points, which running back will have the most fantasy points, which tight end will have them. Like it could be anyone at any day.
Yeah.
So it's
gotcha. But do you still actually feel like the best way to attack this Bears defense is running the football versus throwing on them? Because I feel like our secondary has been lights out and our run defense has been the weakness. We don't have Eddie Goldman this year, which has been a huge loss. So like if the Rams win, is it Jared Goff throwing or is it them running the football? And I know you talked about a balance, but if you had to lean one way.
Well, I would lean in the way the Rams were always good when they made the Super Bowl run, and even in 2017 was when they were running the ball. Yeah. Was when Todd Gurley was like the offensive player of the year, right?
I agree. Yep.
Jared Goff is a great compliment. Jared Goff, I think he had one year like 32 touchdowns. So like he still was highly effective. And that's what made the Rams so good is that like they had a host of receivers and a great running back and they could do both. But when you just say Jared Goff, throw it 40 times and we're running it 20 times, that's usually not a good sign for the Rams unless there's something that they're seeing in the secondary. And so speaking of your secondary being lights out, so we know of Eddie Jackson, we know Kyle Fuller. You've got a rookie back there. Yep. How do you feel about your cornerback number 2 or how about your slot corner? Because we have Cooper Kupp in the slot.
Yeah.
So how would you like mitigate him or your other cornerback?
So I think with our secondary, you obviously talked about our studs. Jalen Johnson, though, has become a stud, if you will. I think the only reason he doesn't get talked about much is because he's a rookie. So for me, again, with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, I'm actually more scared of Robert Woods. You guys use Robert Woods in way more ways than you do Cooper Kupp. I have Cooper Kupp on my fantasy team, and I'm very disappointed because I feel like he does not get used as much, even though I think he's a better receiver. So, like, I know I'm going to see some end arounds with Robert Woods. I know I'm going to see some rushes. So they do scare me, but the Bears have always been a bend but don't break type of defense. So for the Bears, I mean, the best way I think the Rams receivers pop off is yards after the catch. Because
they're like the best in the NFL at that, by the way.
Yeah,
so
they are amazing. And it scares me because, like I said, they are good at it. But if it's Jared Goff throwing the football and it's a 20-yard catch, the Rams receivers are going down. The Bears secondary will handle it, but it's once you miss a tackle here and there, and they've missed a number of tackles, that's how they get burned. Last week when we played the Panthers, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson didn't have any big plays catching the football. It was all yards after the catch. And then you look at the stat sheet, DJ Moore had 93 yards receiving. I'm like, I didn't even see a big game from him, but it's all after the catch. So that scares me for the Rams, and I know the receivers are good at that.
Yeah, and that's how the Rams defense is also the bend but don't break. So it's like a lot of soft zone.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of completions, short yard completions. But like Jimmy Garoppolo last week had, I want to say like 220 of it, some of his 260 yards were all yak yards.
Oh yeah.
So it's. I think that's really how the Rams do it. And then when George Kittle broke it off, it was because the Rams were lulled in to guarding the line, and then there was a slant with cover zero, no one back there. So it'll be interesting. And also the Jalen Ramsey, Allen Robinson, because Allen Robinson's your best offensive player. And if Ramsey shadows him and can neutralize him as best as possible, then I think, then like I said, that's where the tide ends. You just pick on the weakness. I wouldn't throw at Jalen Ramsey. I'd throw at Micah Kaiser and Kenny Young and,
No, I agree.
This is going to be Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet.
Yep.
And maybe I think the other matchup to watch is who's that new burner receiver you have?
Yeah, Darnell Mooney.
So he could take the top off, and that's going to be Darius Williams or Troy Hill on him. So, that's something that I'm also curious to see. But also, Aaron Donald against who's your left guard?
I don't even want to talk about it right now because our left guard has been a problem for us. So, again, I told you the offensive line, it's going to be a struggle. That's why we need to get the ball out quick. So, all right, it's the time that we need to talk about who's going to win this game, Trent. So, listen, I'm going to let you start because I have my thoughts on it, but I actually need to know if I need to dial back my prediction a little bit because a lot of people are saying this is going to be a low-scoring game. So I'll ask you, A, who wins, and B, is it low-scoring?
Oh, I'm not a fan. Like I told you before, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not just going to say the Rams just because the Rams, but I think this is a very evenly matched game. So obviously I'm going to take the Rams. And I think this will be a low-scoring game, and I think the Rams pull it out 20-13.
Okay.
Like 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, to 1 touchdown, 2 field goals.
Okay. So my prediction was the Bears. Again, you said it's a close game, even though, by the way, Vegas is not saying it's a close game.
I don't get that.
You see that? I told all my followers it's free money, Bears +6. I
don't get that.
Literally, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why it's so egregious, but this is why I talk about the disrespect. So the last thing I want to talk about is I have the Bears winning, but my score is actually kind of high scoring, 27-17. Right? So I have the Bears scoring a decent amount of points. You might be like, Fiz, why are you thinking that? Well, I saw Jimmy Garoppolo throw 3 touchdowns last week. Jimmy Garoppolo almost got benched the week prior. Now, you just mentioned it, that a lot of that was yards after the catch. But if Jimmy Garoppolo can do that on the Rams defense, why can't Nick Foles do it? Am I crazy here?
Well, because Jimmy Garoppolo is Kyle Shanahan.
Fair point.
And he has Kittle, and he has Debo Samuel, and he has Brandon Ayuk, and they had Raheem Mostert. And I think there's a little difference there because you're running attack. I mean, that's the big thing. I think the Rams. I just think it's kind of hard to picture 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals from the Bears.
From the Bears.
But honestly, this has been a weird seain.
It has.
So I don't want to say it's out of the. I mean, like Nick Foles has been the weirdest guy. Or the Rams had him, and Nick Foles has been beating the Rams ever since he played on the Rams. So, like, I don't feel comfortable going against Nick Foles, even though like when you're like it's Nick Foles.
Yeah,
running game. Like,
this score, by the way, is predicated on a big Nick Foles game because I'm not depending on the run game. This is not David Montgomery rushing for 3 TDs. This is Nick Foles throws 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and like 2 picks, like that type of game.
But who's he outside of Allen Robinson? Is he going to get those numbers from just tight ends and Mooney?
Yeah, so I that's a good point, right? So we have another receiver in Anthony Miller who has been very disappointing. I hope they use him a lot more this year. But Allen Robinson, if he does get completely shut down, because I don't think he'll get shut down. I think you can slow him down, maybe not completely 0 target, 0 catch. If he does get shut down, then I'm changing my score here. And that's why I say either I see this type of score or I see 13-10, Trent. You know, like I see literally like field goals. So that's kind of where I'm hedging my bet here. So, again, I have the Bears winning, but I either see this being super low scoring or it might kind of have like a broken play here and there, and we've got like a 30-20 game.
Yeah, because I mean your front is just really impressive. So that's like our offensive line against your front. Like that's going to dictate a lot. And it's hard for me to see the Bears scoring that many points.
And by the way, think about defensive touchdowns too, because Eddie Jackson's had 3 pick sixes taken away from him this year. So it's not just offensive TDs.
That's true. I did see though that the in the first play or first drive that Carolina had, how Teddy Bridgewater threw it and it hit Robbie Anderson in the hands and it bounced off. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, there's one for you. But, the Rams, their defense, they allow fewer points per game than the Bears, fewer passing yards per game than the Bears, fewer running yards per game than the Bears. Josh Allen's the only QB that played against the Rams that had over 300 yards.
Yeah.
So it's granted they played against Kyle Allen and Alex Smith and Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott, but the Rams. I think Bears fans are going to see how tight the Rams defense is this season.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to kind of be a revelation. So I really think it's the Bears defense versus the Rams offense. And then the Rams offense defense versus the Bears offense. And I think there's like the Rams offense is better than the Bears offense.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Rams and Bears defense is comparable, like in a lot of ways.
But I would say the Bears defense is better.
Yeah, but I think it's like a slighter discrepancy than the Rams offense and the Bears offense. So, I mean, that's kind of one way I look at it. But, like, honestly, it's Nick Foles. Like, who –
I think that's the biggest thing. You never know which Nick Foles comes out. And Trubisky didn't have that.
I hope it's 2015 Rams Nick Foles. Because I watched the game when he was playing for the Rams, and he threw 4 interceptions against Green Bay, 0 touchdowns, or 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions against Cincinnati that year. And also the 2 games that the Rams have faced Nick Foles when he was on the Eagles, he didn't throw – he came in for Wentz after in 2017 when Wentz tore his ACL and didn't throw a touchdown. And then they played against them the next year, and the Eagles beat him, but he still didn't throw a touchdown.
Wow.
So he's thrown an interception. So he has 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's like 30 for 41 in 2 games that they played.
Yeah.
So but he's like a smart guy. I mean, I don't know.
You just never know with Nick Foles.
You never know. He has 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in his last 3 games, and you're just like, how is this even happening right now?
Yeah, numbers-wise, Nick Foles hasn't been a big upgrade over Trubisky. He really hasn't. It's been pretty much the same, but it's all about here mentally. Like he's just a better leader. He's just better and mentally stronger. So, and the last thing I'll say, by the way, before I ask for the bold prediction is it's been a weird year, like you've said, Trent. I just don't think 13-10 17-10 games are possible with the NFL today. I just feel like they never happen.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I feel like, predicting that low score in a game is hard. But I like your score, 2013. So let's go ahead and end this here. Give me a bold prediction. It could be a Bears one, it could be a Rams one. But what do you got?
Leonard Floyd with the sack.
I like that. I like that one. My bold prediction. This shouldn't be really that bold, but I think what's the highest number of interceptions Jared Goff thrown this year in a game? Do you know by any chance? One. Okay, I'll take double that and maybe even triple that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff either has a 2-touchdown game or a pick six.
Got it.
He just never plays good against the Bears. I think it's been 2 games, but I really feel like that 2018 game in Chicago, we broke Jared Goff. Before that game, Jared Goff was the hottest young quarterback, I feel like, and after that, he's just been meh. Am I crazy?
No, well, I think there are a couple things too. So number one, and this was a real thing, and this has always been a real thing for the Rams. Whenever they play somewhere freezing, they suck. Like whether it was Green Bay, Chicago, and whenever they play outside, never when it's like 0 degrees is never good. So I didn't feel great about that going into the game. Like even that previously in that year against Denver, who wasn't a world-beating team, like the Rams still struggled in that game. They eventually won, but it was because it was like 25 degrees. But also what the Bears showed in that game and and then even later on with, or I think it was the Detroit game before that, or I can't remember, but that's when defenses started figuring out McVay and what the Rams were doing with their 11 personnel. And that's what Belichick mastered in the Super Bowl. And then kind of defenses kept doing last year. So Sean McVay has reinvented really. That's why the Rams were off to a good start, was because he reinvented his offense in a way that countered what teams were doing. So it was just like this chess match, and Jared Goff in the offseason worked on just making like off-balance throws, like replicating pressure and playing under pressure.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they have him on the move, and he has been like extremely steady this year compared to last year. So I feel like Jared Goff is never a sure thing for Rams fans, but he has the tools. He's got the receivers. He has the coach. So it's like, hopefully it clicks. And I'm going to ask you I got a question for you.
Sure.
Who is the Bears quarterback next year? I know we're thinking a long way ahead, but I'm like, obviously there's going to be someone like a free agent or a rookie or something out there that you guys will feel much more comfortable with than Nick Foles.
If I had to put money on it, which I wouldn't want to, I would still say Nick Foles. And the only reason I say that is because if the Bears end up doing what I think they do, which is 10-6, 11-5, a playoff seed, potentially one playoff win, not predicting them to win the Super Bowl, though I do think they have a chance with that defense. Then you come back with Nick Foles. Trubisky's a free agent. He's gone. And we're not bad enough to have a high draft pick to get a rookie who's going to start right away. And I don't really see anybody out there that we could sign. You could say Dak Prescott, but who knows after that injury now. So to me, I think Nick Foles will be the starter for next year. But it's going to be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick Tua situation.
Yeah.
We'll draft somebody, and then essentially the second that Foles sucks or he's ready, we're going to go and replace him.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess that makes sense depending on how the season goes. And one last thing also, I want to thank you for Kai Forbath. We got him off your practice squad.
I saw that.
He might actually be active and kicking on Monday night against you guys.
That's crazy. Who is your kicker? It's like S. Slalom or something?
Sloman. He's a rookie. We drafted
a
rookie, and he's missed 3 extra points.
He's missed 3 extra points? Oh,
yeah.
My goodness. Okay.
So that's why we signed Kai Forbath. And like 3 years ago, we had Cairo Santos when Greg Zerline was injured. So it's just weird.
It's so weird.
I think you guys had like 3 kickers on your roster.
Yeah, seriously. And you know what? Cairo Santos, I'm endorsing him to be our kicker for the rest of the year. He hit 155-yarder last week. That's it. That's all I need to see. So
I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. And I just got a notification. Daryl Henderson taken off the injury report. Robert Woods good to go Monday Night Football. There we go. So
the sky's the limit.
Full compliment. It should be fun, Trent. Appreciate you and appreciate myself, obviously, for being able to contribute as well here. So thank you so much, and we'll go ahead and get on out of here, and I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate that.
Hey, thank you so much, Faizan, and I guess not best of luck, but you know what I mean.
Best of luck to you, not to the Rams. All right?
That's right. That's right.
All right.